The wheels on the bottom of the decks are incline caster trucks. Like all wheeled sports, casterboard riding can be a very dangerous activity, so pay close attention to all warnings and cautions. First off, always wear your safety gear: knee pads, elbow pads, wrist guards, and a helmet. You also want to make sure you're wearing a good pair of sneakers with a rubber sole. Avoid water, gravel, sand, cracks, and loose debris. Basically, like inline skating or skateboarding, you want to ride on a nice smooth surface, or you could risk a fall or damaging the board. Before riding, check all the bolts and hardware to make sure that everything's tight. Your wheels do wear depending on how much riding you do and the kinds of surfaces you ride on, so keep an eye on them and replace them when they get worn. It's not a bad idea to rotate the wheels every. The front deck of your Whiptide is designed with a rounded nose, and the back deck has a fin appearance. You want to make sure you're always riding in a forward direction. You should decide first if you feel more comfortable with your right foot or left foot in front. Place the Whiptide on the ground facing forward and let it rest on its side so that it's leaning towards you. From a standing position, place your front foot on the front part of the deck right in the middle of the board. You really want to make sure your foot is centered on the board and not hanging over too far in either direction. With your foot stable on the front, you're going to push with your back foot just like a skateboard or a scooter and immediately place it in the center of the back deck. Getting up to speed equals stability. If your foot is not correctly centered, stop, reposition your foot, and start again. Now comes the fun part. The key is the twisting motion with your torso and hips. The Whiptide doesn't need you to keep pushing to maintain momentum. All it takes is the side-to-side carving motion, like surfing or snowboarding, to accelerate the turn. Turning is guided by your back foot and shifting your weight. To make an inside turn, lean towards the direction of the turn and pivot on your back foot. To make an outside turn, do the same but in the opposite direction. For sharper turns, you can use your front foot to tilt the board towards your toe or heel while using your back foot and tilting the opposite direction. This will allow you to make a super tight turn on a dime. When you're ready to stop, just bring your speed down and push the back deck down on the ground to engage the stopper and gently step off. The Whiptide is self-propelled, which means you can cruise up a hill with it or just keep back and carve on a nice downhill ride. Just remember, you don't want to try any hills until you've mastered control of the